Although Leo and Sarah work in completely different jobs, they faced the same issue. What do you do when other people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing? How do you deal with broken promises, violated expectations, and good old-fashioned bad behavior? In Leo's case, the infraction had been straightforward. A machine operator repeatedly failed to follow a routine quality process. Leo pointed out the problem, one word led to another, and now the guy was on his way to the hospital. Sarah's case was more ambiguous. Two physicians were about to do something not merely ineffective but flat-out wrong, or so she thought. She wasn't completely certain, but she was pretty certain, and if she was right, the patient might die. How should she confront the two physicians? And once she did, where could she find a new job? Leo and Sarah aren't alone in their turmoil. For instance, how would you typically handle the following? An employee speaks to you in an insulting tone that crosses the line between sarcasm and insubordination. Now what? Your boss just committed you to a deadline you know you can't meet, and not so subtly hinted he doesn't want to hear complaints about it. Your son walks through the door sporting colorful new body art that raises your blood pressure by 40 points. An accountant wonders how to step up to a client who is violating the law. Family members fret over how to tell Granddad that he needs to live up to his promise of no longer driving his car. We all face crucial confrontations. We set clear expectations, but the other person doesn't live up to them. We feel disappointed. Lawyers call these incidents breaches of contract. At work, we're likely to dub them missed commitments, with a friend, broken promises, and with a teenage son, violations of common courtesy. Whatever the terminology, the question is the same. What do you do when someone disappoints you? Leo went for option 1. He chose violence. Sarah opted for another alternative, silence. Surely there's a third option. Surely there's a method that falls somewhere between the stark polar worlds of fight and flight. Actually, that's precisely what this book is about. We examine better ways of dealing with failed promises, disappointments, and other performance gaps. We'll explore how to step up to and master crucial confrontations. But first, let's start with a definition. What we mean by crucial confrontations. When we use the word confrontation, we're using it in the following way. To confront means to hold someone accountable face to face. Although the term can sound abrasive, that's not what we have in mind. In fact, when confrontations are handled correctly, both parties talk openly and honestly. Both are candid and respectful, and as a result, problems are resolved, relationships benefit. To see how the authors learn to step up to failed promises and deal with them in a way that both solves the problem and salves relationships, let's go back to the plywood mill. As you may have guessed, the two researchers who walked into the mill are part of the team behind this book. What 25,000 people taught us about influence. After learning that Leo had beat up an employee, we asked the manager if we could spend time studying supervisors who were, how does one put it, less physically assertive. After all, it was our job to study the most competent leaders in the mill. We had been asked to fashion a leadership training course based on the practices of the best leaders, not the worst. When the plant manager walked us down to the supervisor's offices to introduce us to his top performers, we were amazed to learn that their highest-rated frontline supervisor was a 105-pound female engineer who was doing a short stint on the line. Nobody was better at holding employees accountable than Melissa was. She, along with a half-dozen other leaders, would make up our first study group. We selected them because of their ability to hold people accountable — they weren't soft — and do that in a way that was respectful, unlike Leo. Actually, Melissa and her colleagues would be the first of over 25,000 people we would study across dozens of institutions for the next 2 decades. As it became clear to us that leaders aren't the only ones who wield influence, we expanded our research population to include all opinion leaders. Some were leaders and others were not, but all had been identified by